All right. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Today's Weather Tonight. Here, as always, I am your meteorologist for the evening, Cloud Hudson, and it is a late one tonight, so I will be using my more sensual ASMR voice, my close talking to the mic voice. I did have a 12 hours on. No, not even 12 hours on. I worked from 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. today. So I've had a bit of a long day. So forgive me if I've missed anything with this update. But I am excited to tell y'all about what we got going on with the weather today. I've also got some stories. I always say tonight's top stories, but let's get into some of these stories for fun first. Um, let's see. Let's take a look at some of the stories that came up on my feed today, recommended for me. Interesting targeted ad because I've never, these are not relevant to me. Um, This is an interesting one. The stunning Peruvian mountain that has only revealed itself because of climate change. Now, this is called Rainbow Mountain in the Andes Mountains of Peru, high in the Vilcanota range. Um, a glacier that once covered this mountain range has melted due to climate change, and now deposits of like sulfur, copper, iron oxide, etc., in the rocks that were put there from years of glacial melt and river streams and la 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 have revealed themselves. Now, unfortunately, okay, let's look on the bright side. On the bright side, it's a stunning view, very spectacular. And this is one way that we know that this is one example of something I often say, which is that climate change might not be good, but it will be pretty. Welcome to everyone in the chat. Please introduce yourselves if you are new here. I would love to hear from you. Yeah, just I'm gonna put it. Oh, excuse me. What? Sign into YouTube. What are you talking about? I am in YouTube for sure. I'm for sure in YouTube. Hold on. This is very confounding, confusing, because how am I supposed to be able to check my own chat if you're making me sign in? I'm not trying to chat on myself. I don't even know what that means. Yes, I haven't told y'all this, but I do use a flip phone as my real phone. This is a flip phone that can do apps, so it's very cool. It's very fun. That's because that's what you get to do. Okay. What? 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 What even? Sometimes this stuff, this technology, I just don't understand. Not now. I just want to see my chat. Oh my god. Stop making me. Okay, now it's gonna pull up the whole ass YouTube video. That is so weird. Okay, why? Why? making me chat as myself with myself. Oh well, if I'm gonna be able to do that, then I will. I'm gonna chat to myself. I don't know why it made me chat as a different person. That's very weird. Okay, I'm gonna try to pull that up again. View. Chat. Okay, that's fine. That'll do, pig. Okay. Yeah, it still doesn't want to scroll down in my window. Okay, whatever. All right. Let's continue the story. Rainbow Mountain here in Peru is an example of how climate change will be beautiful. It will be gorgeous to see such rapid fluctuations in waveforms, the waveforms that make up our physical world, but it will also intensify the let's just say lower vibrations of the earth, because this unfortunately, even though this has revealed such a gorgeous sight, it has increased in unsustainable and detrimental tourism to the area, and additionally colonization of the traditionally indigenous area. Usually no one but the native tribes have been going here and observing the sacred beauty of the Rainbow Mountain, but word got out, and people are flocking from all over to see this. So unfortunately, it's a self-feeding cycle. The more beautiful the climate change gets, the faster the climate change happens. So speaking of climate change, let's look at this is some video from Madagascar's Gamane, that's how I'm saying it, cyclone that just hit. It was a really, really terrible, devastating cyclone because it just kind of it just parked right off the coast and swirled around the north side of Madagascar for a long time, and that has resulted in some really terrible flooding damages. Really just truly horrific scenes out there. But thankfully, there are some people with boats. It looks like Hurricane Katrina out there, honestly. Really unfortunate. And speaking of natural disasters, so Madagascar is actually having one, and Canada is over here pretending to have one. Canada's Niagara region has already declared a state of emergency as 1 million total solar eclipse watchers are predicted. Now that is a lot because they usually get 14 million visitors annually, and they're going to get 1 million in one day. But I feel like this is a bit of a Canadian over-exaggeration of hardship. You know, they're already declaring a state of emergency. That sounds fake. Sounds made up. Sounds weird. But as you can see in this image of the 2017 solar eclipse, the corona is visible during totality, and this year the corona is in incredibly active state as we are ramping up towards the peak of solar cycle 25. So it's going to be a really good one to see. Let's see, another thing I wanted to bring to our attention is that I've found a great map of intact habitat cores on U.S. native lands through the nativeland.info website service. And it also shows layers where there's continuous conservation of traditional land ecotypes. I can show, I'll take off land cover, and this shows just where we have intact, continuous native ecotypes. And then if I put on land cover, we can see the type of land cover in all areas. And this is also demonstrated with a outline of where native nations are. So we can see the difference between land usage and management in different governments, because remember, these are nations within the United States, sovereign nations, and they do get to use land differently. Very interesting and a really cool resource. They have so many other thematic maps that preserve and collect data about land usage from native nations. So it's a really cool resource there. Let's go to, I want to see now, earthquake map. Interesting thing about an earthquake map today is that we got, here in North Carolina, there were 2 earthquakes up near the North Carolina-Virginia border, a 1.5 at 8 kilometers depth and a 2.3 at 6 kilometers depth. In Low Gap, North Carolina, right off the Blue Ridge Parkway. Honestly, that is real close to the Blue Ridge Parkway, kind of down in a little holler there. So really interesting. But as we zoom out, there was also one up here in Ohio, one in the typical area of south of White City, New Mexico, not even south of Del City, Texas. Between Del City and Mentone, Pecos, and Van Horn, that is where we keep seeing persistent earthquakes. And just for shits and giggles, let's go there. Barren Island is a volcano that just erupted today, so I want to go back there in a sec. But let's take a look at what's going on over here. Why so many earthquakes in this area? Right in that area? Wonder what's there. What's that? Solar sites. That's a solar site. Interesting that there's been some earthquakes around that. And what is here? Okay, that's what I expected to see. Chevron Ranch. Tallier Ranch Chevron Station. So some drilling operations. That tracks. Okay. Let's go. Well, okay. Let's go look at our volcanoes for today. Okay, so this is the one that I mentioned. Barren Island volcano in the Indian Ocean has erupted, and strong heat anomalies at the summit vent and caldera base on the south indicate lava flow and likely incandescent avalanches. So, new volcanic eruption on Barren Island. Let's go back to Barren Island. Oh God. Google Earth, I wish you would let me orthographically toggle. So Barren Island is here near the Andaman Islands in off the coast of Burma / Myanmar. even though one of my earthquake apps or websites has been calling this off the coast of India. I'm calling this off the coast of Burma and or Myanmar. I'm still not really clear on which name I should be using. But that's the newest addition to actively erupting volcano list. Everybody else is pretty much who we've been looking at. A new batch of magma rose in the conduit and arrived at the summit crater, resulting in a new lava flow and glowing rock falls. That is fun. Alright, well, there might not be any life on it because apparently it's barren. Okay, let's go to check out our earthquakes from here. From volcanoes, we go up through the Earth's crust into the checking out the earthquake land. And if we take it up to just 1 and greater, let's even do 2.5, 2 and greater. We still see a lot of earthquakes here in Hawaii and Alaska. Oh, we see a 5.8 here on the Aleutian Island chain. That is, it doesn't tell me what that island is, but 5.8 there at 116 kilometers depth. A swarm of 2s and 3s in Alaska, which is typical. A little trail of 2.5s going down the California coast here, and a 3.1 right at San Diego. Yeah, these we saw. This is the 2.3 that is quite interesting to see, quite the anomaly, because it's in North Carolina, where we don't usually get many earthquakes, and Ohio. That is kind of where energy from this movement, follow the mouse, it goes down the Pacific through the curve up that way. Thank you, Dutch Sense, for teaching me that. Got a 4.9 off the coast of Guatemala. We had a 4.1 off the coast of Ecuador. Actually, I'm not sure if the Galapagos are still erupting or not. We also had a 5.1, 5.2, and a 4.7 out here in the East Pacific Rise. So that's what it's called. I don't know why I couldn't think of that last night. We have also a swarm of low to mid-range 4s here in the Peru area. Not seeing anything on the Mid-Atlantic Ridge today, but we still see a spread of 4.0s and 4.7s marching through the Middle East, North Africa, and Mediterranean regions. We had a 5.0 right here in the Kashmir area. We had a 4.7 here on the border of Tibet and China. We had swarm of 4.5s in the Philippines, 4.7 out here on Marianas Trench. We had 5.1 here. I forget what these islands are called, but I think they're part of Papua New Guinea. And we had a lot of 5.0s here in the, let's take the quake rings down. Okay, a lot of 4-point-somethings and 5.0s in this wave break shaped plate boundary. They're at around, some at 10 kilometers depth. Okay, so the 4.4 here is the deepest. We had at varying depths, some extremely shallow and some extremely deep. So let me go turn those rings back on, zoom out, and let's look at the depth exaggeration. That is what you can see as really, really, I think, coming right out of the plate. So like this, something It crawled on me. It's weird. It's extra weird because I just put out a moth trap, so they should be going to that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of energy coming out of the plate there. I wonder if Taiwan got hit yet. No? No. Not yet. Not yet. Okay. Let's go next to look at our atmosphere. Okay. So, obviously, we still have a torrent of rain battering Southern California from Salinas to Tijuana. The entire southern half of coastline of California is once again being battered by a atmospheric river driven rainfall event. And there's been more rainy weekends in Southern California this year than there have been sunny weekends, which is a big change of pace to say the least for them there. Looking at some isolated severe storms down there in San Diego, as well as here in Yuma, all the way up to Las Vegas, getting some rainfall, and Reno not missing out on the action by any means. We're in a severe, or in a critical and elevated risks of wildfires over here in New Mexico and Texas, however. Up here in the upper plains, we're getting a little bit of isolated precipitation, and we do have some isolated severe thunderstorms here in the Ohio River Valley. Gusty winds, minor hail damage. Let's see. Let's get a better look at those by going to a single radar site. Let's see if this is going to show us. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Yeah. That looks gnarly. Just south of Seymour. Let's see if I can see that develop. Let's look at velocity. Any of this look like developing couplet? I don't think there's enough cape, but no. Let's take a look at that one in 3D. Ooh, baby. Look at that, buddy. Well, let me play in 3D. Oh, yes. That's so cool. Look at that. You can see it really peek out right there. Okay. Let's go back to 2D. Alright, so we are looking at some severe storms there throughout Indiana and Kentucky. Really, Lexington, you're about to get walloped if you haven't already been. There have been several severe special weather statements for the Lexington area tonight. Yeah, some of those isolated storms look gnarly. We're also in an enhanced risk of wildfires here in western North Carolina, really all the southern Appalachians here. Yeah. Let's see. Let's take a look at some models on here. Let's go for... I don't want the NAM. I want her. I want her. Let's zoom out and look at what our precipitation forecasts are looking like. Alright, looks like this occluded front in California is expected to swing more down towards Mexico These severe storms are going to translate pretty much eastward into the DC area. Let's see what else we're looking at. Let's get some temperature. No. Jet stream level winds. Yeah, there you can see that big atmospheric river just plummeting away. What else do we want to look at? God, okay. Are we looking at any of that? Temperature. Gonna load? Gonna load for me, buddy? There we go. The HUR usually has a better resolution of temperature. Plus, since I don't care about far out, I like the rapid refresh. Yeah. Looking like you can really see where the cold and warm fronts are and where the occlusion happens. Looking at maybe a bit of a warm up, but then a good cold blast behind it. All right, let's go now to looking at our solar weather. Right. Ooh. Direction of the interplanetary magnetic field is slightly south, and the solar wind speed is moderately high. So I would expect that if you are an aurora chaser, we got a KP of 4, so maybe a pretty good time to see aurora tonight. We were in moderate storm range earlier. A high density and a high speed and a very decent southward component. We're in active geomagnetic conditions at the KP of 4. There was a solar flare earlier. Let's go back and look at our solar flares. There was also radio blackout. Let's go back to check out our CMEs. Had 32 to 39. I had 7 CMEs today. Nothing too big to speak of, but let's take a look at those flares. Oh, buddy, we got almost up to an X-class flare. That was just right on the precipice of being an X-class flare today. So no wonder we are in a magnetic storm right now. That really tracks. What was this one today? 3515. What? I haven't heard of 3515. Oh, that is a brand new one rotating onto the sun's face right now. So we are getting a new major flare player, as Tamitha Scove would say. That's exciting. Okay, so we had a little bit. We had almost had 2 X flares in one 24-hour period again. Almost. But, dang, so close. But that is a near X. That is a really close to X flare. Which has got to make our, let's go back to our dashboard and see what this looks like. Got a big line of coronal holes here too. This latitude, like, it's the opposite of a hot longitude. This is like a cold longitude. Let's look at the videos. Look at this one for flaring. There's that X. We're seeing a lot of little M's in the meantime. Probably looking over here for the next one. There's a launch. Oh, that looks like it's about to launch as well. Let's see on the composite, see if that looks better. Beautiful. They're talking to each other. Look at those cardioid curves. Oh, gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. All right, I'm happy to see this coming back on view. So we're gonna go from hot to cold, hot to cold. Very good, very good. Let's go now to look at our planetary weather. It is currently a Saturn day, and we are in a Mars hour. I think we started the broadcast during a Jupiter hour. Saturn and Mars are approaching a conjunction in Pisces, so that's exciting. Scary, but exciting. Very emotionally charged, I feel. Emotionally charged Saturn-Mars conjunction this year. It's taking place in the sign of Pisces, where we are about to have a Venus and Neptune conjunction as well. And that is all right before we are about to have a crazy solar eclipse on April 8th. I can't even tell you what's going to happen, but I know something wild's going to happen. Jupiter and Uranus move ever closer to each other as Mercury nears its degree of stationing retrograde. Remember, that's going to happen on April Fool's Day, and we will all feel like fools. Yeah, the moon is squaring Saturn right now. Moved from squaring Mars to squaring Saturn Pisces. So, probably not the best day to feel like an impulsive Sagittarius. Probably gonna feel real bad to be a Sagittarius unless you just really like working hard and buckling down on stuff. But with the sun in Aries, yeah, we're feeling fiery and watery. Yeah, I'm not speaking too good right now. In that case, let me go ahead and pull a card from our liminal space deck. This is a liminal space kind of day for me because I'm in the middle of a hair transformation. So, middle of a hair transformation. So, I am in a liminal space of myself. I'm in a liminal space myself. You will be able to see the finished product when I cut it. It's going to be a really, really even prettier color once I cut this. But for now, it's not really in the right configuration to show the full effect of the placement of the hair sectioning and pattern I did. So we do a card pull to get a reading on the cosmic weather. So cosmic weather, if you want to come in and put your chaos into these cards, we will get a pull. And I'm getting a feeling that we're supposed to pull 3 cards from this deck, starting with this one. And this one and this one. Okay. Ooh. Wow, that sounds like a pretty clear message, but I don't know for who or about what. We got a card that says mood with a lava lamp. One that says be careful signing contracts. And one that says no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So if you have been thinking about signing a contract recently, absolutely do not do it. Maybe it's a mood contract? I'm not sure. Let's read more about what mood says. Change the vibe. Indulge in your sensory experiences. A good meal or a walk in the woods will change your resonance, if only slightly. While seemingly arbitrary, a simple shift will alter the larger course of things. So, maybe just regulate your emotional body instead of committing to the bit right now. Let's see what be careful signing contracts says. I'm pretty sure it's self-explanatory. Well, it's not even in here. It's so clear. Just be careful signing contracts. And then getting no, absolutely not, absolutely not. It's a really great card where it's two, like a highway with a highway exit, and also both of them say absolutely not. Yeah. Absolutely not. While any given situation can produce infinite potential outcomes, your desired one is most unlikely. Repeated obstacles indicate your will is not in harmony with the larger plan. Listen to this sign to prevent further frustration and embarrassment. The answer is no. So, the universe is giving us a big old no. Gotta figure out what that means. What does this know about? What's coming up for you? Interesting thoughts. Interesting thoughts? Universe giving us a no. Very clearly. I wrote no. Regulate your mood instead of jumping into something. Interesting. Very interesting. All right. Well, I'm going to say that is it for tonight's episode. Be sure to subscribe, like, comment, share, tell your friends about this. I do love you very much. Have a great evening. Bye.